You know, it's rather fitting that I get to introduce Commissioner Greg Gonzalez after the presentation that we've just had, because we've heard from Philip about the number of scams that are being committed by these perpetrators against elderly victims. And those elderly victims need to go to their banks and credit unions to withdraw the cash to feed these scammers. And so it's so healthy when we have a commissioner who's working so actively in the state of Tennessee to work with banks and credit unions to try to educate so that we can prevent a lot of this money from going. So it's my honor to introduce Commissioner Gonzalez. He is the 18th Commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Financial Institutions. He's been in that role since 2005, and he was reappointed by Governor Lee. And so it's very fitting for the Commissioner to introduce Governor Lee. So would you please join me in welcoming Commissioner Greg Gonzalez. Thank you.
Well, good morning. It's good to be with you all again today. And it is my privilege and my honor now to introduce the Governor of Tennessee. Bill Lee is a seventh-generation Tennessean. Raised in Franklin, still resides there today with his wife Maria on the family farm, proud father of 4, grandfather of 8. After attending Williamson County schools and graduating from Auburn University, where he studied mechanical engineering, returned home to Franklin, joined the family business that his grandfather started in 1944, a comprehensive mechanical construction service company. He became president of Lee Company 30 years ago. Since becoming governor in 2019, Governor Lee has focused on several priorities, including quality education, economic development, public safety, supporting families. Under his leadership, Tennessee has strengthened career and technical training, expanded school choice, passed the most pro-life legislation in the country, achieved meaningful criminal justice reform, cut taxes, sharpened the effectiveness of government. Additionally, Tennessee was named the #1 best fiscally managed state in the country, best business climate in the United States. Since the governor took office, the state has garnered over 270 project commitments, 40,000 jobs, $13 billion in capital investments, Ford Motor Company, SK Innovation, Amazon, Oracle, and dozens of other companies choosing to invest in Tennessee. The governor and first lady are people of strong faith. They're active in numerous faith-based ministries where they've gone all over the world to serve people in need. In that regard, I appreciate the governor's leadership by again participating in this Elder Justice Conference. I know firsthand of the governor's goals to ensure that every Tennessean is seen and is served. Governor, your attendance here today signals to all Tennesseans that the issues of exploitation of elders and other vulnerable citizens is a concern for all of us, and your leadership is an encouragement to the countless people in this room, throughout the state, really throughout the country, who seek justice for so many who are relying on all of us. So thank you, Governor, for being here, speaking to us again. Will you join me in welcoming the 50th Governor of the state of Tennessee, Bill Lee.
Thank you. Go. Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just, every time he speaks and I'm with him, I'm reminded of when I came into office, and I've told him this before, but everyone said to me, you know, this commissioner or that commissioner, a little bit of, I don't care what you do about all that, just make sure you don't lose him. And I am grateful for your work. I'm grateful for, and the reason I stopped in up here, and happy to be up in East Tennessee today, but the reason I did is because this is an issue that should and does matter to every Tennessean. And many are not aware. Many don't understand fully. Many are not engaged. But most are impacted, even if they don't know it, frequently by family members, by acquaintances who need to have the work that you all are doing, who need to have that work done in order to protect our citizens, the most vulnerable, whether they're the oldest or the youngest. We have a responsibility, in particular, to look out for, to protect, to defend the people of our state, and particularly those who cannot defend themselves and cannot protect themselves for whatever reason. So I commend the work of the organizations that are involved here. And we have worked in our office to work together through the Commission on Aging and Development, through our Department of Financial Services, through our Department of Human Services, but most importantly, in collaboration with organizations across the state that are serving the elderly. And it isn't easy work, and there are issues that are tough to address and to overcome. We know that. We through the commission and James Dunn's work, we established the task force that was really tasked with giving us input, giving me and my office, where are the biggest challenges? How do we improve our ability to put data together in a database? How is it that we improve our ability to investigate the claims of abuse that occur out there, either physical abuse or financial abuse? How is it that we can collaborate and coordinate in a better way? There's a great desire to work together. There are huge challenges to overcome, but at the end of the day, I feel confident that that's going to happen because of you. Government, as I say oftentimes, government's not the answer to the greatest challenges that we face in our day. The people are. And the people are manifested. People come together and they show up in agencies and nonprofits, in the faith community, in community organizations, individuals who are passionate and care about an issue. And that's why we will address this greatest issue of the day, because the people, and that is you, and primarily those that are most engaged and most active in this space, will come together to protect some of our most important, most valuable, to be most honored, but oftentimes just the opposite occurs. But those citizens that we all know need the work that you all are doing. So I want to say thank you for that. And finally, I'll just, I get oftentimes asked about the policies that we're doing, and we could go into, legislative issues that we've tackled. We put funding in the budget to improve services for the elderly. I could go through a laundry list of that, but I don't want to do that so much as I want to just say I'm oftentimes asked about our policy and what's my philosophy for approaching challenges in government from the position that I stand. And whether it's education, whether it's criminal justice, whether it is economic development, or whether it's an issue like the elderly citizenry in our state, the foundational principles that drive and should drive, I think, in this country policy is the dignity of human beings and the dignity of every human being, and particularly the dignity of human beings who are most vulnerable and most at risk and most incapable of breaking through the barriers that allow them to live their best life. that's the philosophy and the fundamental principles behind what we ought to be doing together to work on behalf of the people of this state, in particular those that are elderly Tennesseans. That dignity that's because it's endowed to them because they are God's creation, but it should be protected by us because of the value and the dignity of those lives. So I know that you all, I'm preaching to the choir, and I'm talking to people who understand this and know this, but to the degree that we can elevate those conversations, to the degree that we can talk about it in a greater level, to the degree that we can engage our lawmakers, our local officials, our General Assembly, to the level that we can be more collaborative and work together to address and solve the greatest challenges of our day. And one of them is this issue of protecting the elderly, then we can feel confident that we're respecting the dignity of human beings. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for letting me have a few minutes just to speak, step in here and say, what you're doing matters. Pursue it with great passion. When you hit roadblocks, when there's bureaucracy, which we see all the time, when there are unanswered questions that you can't seem to get answers to, do not stop asking them. Do not stop pushing for it. Do not stop collaboratively working together, and we will protect the dignity of those that you all care so much about. Thank you very much for the privilege to be here.